Peace and love, Divine Reflections. Why we should become empty vessels. We need to become empty vessels in order that we may be filled with the divine knowledge. Being an empty vessel, what does that mean? For me, it means letting go of all the shit, all the programming, all the conditioning, the lifetime of conditioning that we've been, put under the spell, breaking the spells. This is gonna help you really tune in and become the ultimate and greatest version of yourself. Letting go, cutting off all these things, all these programs, these things that aren't serving you because they're somebody else's ideals, they're conditionings of a society that may not even be aligned to what you're trying to do in life. So at the end of the day, it might not even be helpful for you to have these things. So one of the things that I've been working on for a long time, ever since I got started on my journey, is to just cut off from all the bullshit, cut off from all the things that aren't really helping you. These things, there's so much shit that we got to deprogram from that it's kind of overwhelming at times, to be honest. And a lot of people, that's why they don't even want to go into this lifestyle, because it's a lot easier to just deal with the day-to-day mundane shit sometimes than to actually make efforts and put in that work to deprogram and to debug and to detoxify your whole life from this onslaught of toxins and negativity and programming that we have on a day-to-day basis, that's propagated by the media, by people, and by everything around us in our environment. But if your cup is full to the brim with programming, conditioning, and there's no room for any new information, and that's how people are walking around. They're walking around as these full, overloaded cups of just useless information that's conditioning, that's only important in this environment, which is civilization, right? We have to, if we want to seek to be greater versions of ourselves, we have to empty all that shit out. Just let it go, empty it out, deprogram, detoxify from all that, in order that we may be filled with the truth and the knowledge and the divine wisdom that we will receive once we reconnect and empty our cup and become an empty vessel to be filled up with that knowledge. And that's going to entail a journey that you're going to be on. That's, for me personally, I think it'll be a lifetime journey, but that will be an authentic journey. That's not somebody else's life, somebody else's narrative, their perspective. This is your journey. Right now, as it is, most people are walking around living other people's lives and other people's ideas of what life should be. And I don't even say to follow what I think life should be. I think that's something you got to figure out for yourself, whatever resonates with you. But what I'm saying is that if you want to really find out what it is that you are here to do and what you really gravitate towards, it would really benefit you to just let go. First, the first step is just to empty everything and just let it go. It's like you have a cup that's already full, and then you're trying to put more stuff in there in the form of new programming, even if it's beneficial, but it's still getting mixed up and caught up and mixed in together with the old programming. And it's just, this is where people get overwhelmed and they become bombarded with all these things. They're trying to navigate a world where they're still trying to justify some of their old belief systems, and they're still trying to run with some of their old programming while bringing in the new and improved programming, but still keeping the old. So what I say is just forget all that, let's forget all the old conditioning. And for me, what that means, careers, jobs, money, success, education, family, the food, what we watch, what we eat, how we speak, our energy, all of that, as far as what we've been taught in civilization, just roll it up into a little ball and toss it in the trash, because as far as I've learned, all of that is pretty much bullshit. Because you're gonna tell me that the only way I can achieve success is through doing what you perceive to be successful as, which would be what? Getting a career, getting an education. And if you want to do that, that's cool and everything, but that's not my idea of success. I don't see that as the greatest and grandest idea of success. That's not for me. I could do those things. I have the potential to go beyond that, do all of that. But what really resonates with me is really tapping in and tuning in and reconnecting to nature. Why? Because it's really what I'm called to do, and it's something that I haven't really experienced coming from where I come from. And everywhere I go and I turn and I see and I try to analyze the situation and see what's best, it's always going back to nature and what has always been and what has stood the test of time. And what really is harmonious with the planet. Like, yes, I can succumb to the popular consensus that I should get a career and I should become, a person and that's in doing this career and has this life path and is going to school and raise a family, and fall into all these little traps of people who have came before me, their ideas of what being successful is. Or I can really let go of all of that, as hard as that may be, as difficult as it may be, because society is set up to accommodate the popular consensus that we should all, have careers and all this little bullshit. But when I really tune in to my heart and I look into what I really want and like what's my nature, it's really not that. Not for me. It's not that. I could do those things and I can supplement my life with those things, and that could be something, a quality that I have, another thing to add. But I think the foundation for what I want my experience to be is grounded and founded upon nature and experiencing and living and learning and operating from that place. And anything that comes after that is just, icing on the cake. It's just, whatever on top of that. But there's people who never connect with that natural part of themselves. They're so sucked into the system. Their cup is so full that they have no room for any of this information that I'm sharing with you guys, or these new perspectives that I'm opening up, because they've kind of succumbed to this system. They've given in. They've put all their cards into the system. So anything other than the system would they're not interested in, because they already put all their cards into the system. Me, I'm fortunate enough to not have fallen into that and be open enough so that I can easily leave. I've set myself up for that I have no attachments. And at the end of the day, even if you're already in the system, the attachment is only a psychological attachment, because you can leave anytime. If you really wanted to, if I really wanted to, I could. I just don't feel that it's my time yet, or I have certain goals that I'm working towards that I want to strategically maneuver through this landscape and through this artificial environment to get myself out of it and to create a better life for me, or for what I perceive to be better, and to have other experiences that are outside of this artificial environment. But if you really want to connect on some deeper levels, you're gonna have to disconnect from this machine for sure, because right now most of us are just locked in I personally am not as most people, but because I've created a situation for myself where I'm not in that day-to-day race, in that day-to-day struggle of being so sucked into the machine. But I know other people are. They're going to work, 8 to 12 hours a day, and dealing with that whole machine. And I pulled myself back enough, and I've spent enough time by myself, and I've done enough research, and I've done enough introspection that I've realized that I don't have attachment to that, and I'm not attached to that. And I realized that for me, it's not the way I want to go. It's not the route I want to go. I would personally want to reconnect back to nature, and I want to find comfort in just existing as another being in the environment. Like that for me sounds like it really resonates with me. I don't resonate with this whole 9 to 5 and doing this work, and there's endeavors that I'm doing that are still within the system, but my approach is just to minimize the amount of damage I do and to help the most people I can while I'm here in this society, and to make it work for me, while I'm here, and in the process be building up and be kind of strategically making moves so that I can get myself to where I want to go. So, but I've let go of so much things. I've let go of so much beliefs, so much programming, so much, even some of the quote unquote conscious things, they're programs too, that people can't, they don't ever get out of that because they can't evolve, because they're attached to that program, that practice, that spirituality. And for me, that's not the case. At least at the moment, I feel like just an empty vessel, and I'm like ready to be filled with all this knowledge, and I'm ready to not even just be filled with the knowledge, but to actually practice and experience the knowledge firsthand. And I'm always down for that. I'm down to like really be about it and be out there and be doing the work on myself, and whatever that means, wherever that takes me, I'm gonna go there. No limitations whatsoever. I can do it. I can achieve it like other people can want to achieve, graduating, getting their masters and their doctorates in medicine or whatever. Like I had the other day, some guy told me that he knew how to eat, that he spent 4 years studying medicine, and therefore he knew how to eat. And I was just thinking, man, it took you 4 years of school studying medicine to be able to learn what you're supposed to be eating. That's ridiculous, like that's crazy to me how disconnected we are. Like you would never tell like a deer or an ox or a bird, like they don't need to go to school to know what the hell they're supposed to be eating, because they're tuned in, they're tapped in, they're vibrating on that frequency of knowing. But we've disconnected ourselves. We're so saturated with lies and with deception and with programming, negativity and fear, that we really can't be aware of our natural existence. People run away from their natural existence. People don't want to be shirtless because they're afraid of their own fucking skin. I can't even go outside and take off my shirt comfortably because people are looking at me thinking I'm trying to show off, when I'm just trying to really embrace like the sun or embrace my nature. Like, and I feel even worse for like women, because they're sexualized even more, they have to cover up even more than men. And there's so much bullshit and bogus out there that people are just running away from their nature, and that's why you have everybody covering up, makeup, dyeing their hair, even the guys, getting fresh cuts and trying to look fresh. That's why I've been growing out my hair, because I want to see like what does this really look like, my natural being. Like if I was to exist as a natural human, like what the hell would I look like? I don't even know that. That's how disconnected I am. I'm trying to tap back into that, tune back into that, because as it is right now, I'm still like a domesticated animal. Like I'm like a dog that's never been out in the wild and has never ran around and had to fend for himself. He's always been taken care of, you know. And most of us are, you know, we all are. We're these domesticated animals living in this artificial zoo. And we need to wake up from that. If you ever want to have sovereignty, you have to wake up to that realization and take action so that you can become sovereign and have the tools and the capabilities and the skills to be able to provide for yourself in a natural environment. And that's a whole big learning experience, and that's going to take a lot of time because the system isn't set up to teach you that, you know. When in your school, you never taught any of this information of how to, you know, identify plants and what's edible and what's in your environment and what grows local and so on. It's bogus, you know. All this shit, you know, history, you know, somebody's perception on what happened, or the victor's story of what happened. All that really, when it comes down to it, is irrelevant. Like for me, knowing that information, it's just taking up space in my memory, in my mind, in my being, that I can be using to become a better version of myself, to have more vitality and health and be able to navigate the real world, not the artificial world. Because yes, I can learn all that information and be able to navigate this world, but ultimately, if that's not where I want to be, why would I be learning about this? Why would I be diving into topics that are intrinsic only to society and civilization when I don't even want to be a part of civilization? You know, I'm trying to tune in to the real shit. Like this is a fake game. You want to get out of here? You want to play the real game? You want to experience the real life? You can do that. You know, we have that option, but it's going to take work because of the conditioning. So we have to, it's not even adding anything. It's just letting go of shit. That's the first step. You got to let go of all the programming. Let go. You know, people want to make you feel bad if you don't have a career. Like, I'm way beyond that. I don't feel bad at all that I don't have a career. I don't feel bad at all that I'm not financially successful because of skills and the things that I've developed within myself. Nobody could take away from me. No market crash could take away from me. No bad business, decision could take that away from me. That's something that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. This knowledge and this experience and the wisdom that I'm tapping into, is eternal, And when I look at that and I observe it from that angle, like, I'm really grateful and I feel like I've accomplished so much. But to the normal person, I'm just probably some bummy guy who's not doing anything big for himself, who's not like has a career or whatnot, and I am working on things to be like, to master Babylon and be successful here. But at the end of the day, I don't value that at all compared to what I truly value, which is having that expertise and that knowledge of being completely connected to nature and being a part of that in an environment, as a being, as a species in that environment, in that ecosystem. That's where I want to go, and I think that's where I want to head. So I want to just deprogram from all this, just let go of all this shit and come into that person that I am naturally, without the programming of society, without the conditioning, without the domestication. I'm a wild motherfucker, like I'm not meant to be tamed. Like, that's just not within my nature, and I think people can see that, they can sense that, and that's why I've kind of struggled to integrate into the system, because I'm difficult to tame, I'm not buying into this. Like, I challenge things, and I'm challenging ways of thinking, and I'm diving into, like, trying to find out the truth, a real truth seeker, and an experiencer at that, trying to experience the truth, not just, learn about it. But the first step, if you want to gain any type of knowledge or wisdom, become an empty vessel so that you can be filled with the knowledge and wisdom that nature holds and the universe holds, which is nature, which is God, which is all, which is us, which is everything. But if you're not tapping into that energy because you're distracted, then you're not going to be able to experience that. So that's my message to you guys today. Become empty vessels and get filled with the knowledge. Alright, peace and love. Divine Reflections.